Welcome back to Online Darts. We're here in Stevenage and we've got Sky Sports, Mark Webster. Webby, some reaction from the Premier League last night. First of all, wow, what a night.
Yeah, it was a good night. It was obviously good to see the four players there that deserve to be there. I felt for Johnny, just fell into a bit of a storm really from Gerwen Price, but credit to Michael van Gerwen. Not many, probably you're guilty of not thinking he'd win last night. I didn't, not many people did. I think he thrives on it, and yeah, well done to him. I was impressed with him, the way he dealt with everything, particularly in the semi-final, because that could have gone a little bit wrong, but he was brilliant in the final, and on the night he just got everything a little bit right, and on the night deserves to be the champion.
You spoke about Johnny there. So that's a bounce back from that quite quickly, because it was a heavy defeat to his World Cup teammate.
Yeah, it was a non-contest, wasn't it? He knows that, but his season's panning out pretty well. He's doing really well in terms of he's won a European Tour, he's won a Pro Tour, everything else is fine. He's made the last four of the Premier League. If you'd have given him that in the first week of the Premier League, he'd have probably took it. Didn't go to plan last night. I still think he's having a great season. I still think he's been brilliant in the Premier League. 3 playoffs in 3 years, and he won it as well, and top the league. I think he's been a great addition, and look, I'd like to see him have another go next year, but we all know that a lot can change in sort of 7-8 months.
On Michael Smith and Gerwen Price, do you think maybe they not underestimated Michael, because no one ever does that, but maybe thought the injury was a little bit more serious and played into that trap subconsciously?
No, I just don't think they played well enough. I don't think they'd have took anything for granted, particularly Gezi anyway, because Michael's only won a game, so he wouldn't have fallen foul of it. But for Michael Smith, I think he said in the social media didn't score well enough. He's quite honest, Michael, when he loses. He's his own biggest critic, and he'll bounce back. And he's made a sterner stuff now, Michael Smith. It was just one of those nights. He didn't play like he can. He goes again, as will Gerwen Price, as will Johnny Clayton. These are top players, so they recover from setbacks really well.
It's kind of mirroring last year that MVG went into the Premier League playoffs, probably not favourite, and everyone going, is he going to come back, is he going to do this? But he just finds a way. It's almost like you can never write him off.
Yeah, I've been guilty of it. I've done it last year at the Matchplay. I wasn't convinced he'd win Grand Prix. I thought he'll win. I'm not making that mistake again, but I made the mistake again, didn't I? I'm not backing him. But I think he quite likes it. I think he blends into the background. He's not really done anything in the Premier League for the last 6 weeks. He just ticked through. He knew he was there. But when it got to finals night and he stuck by what he said, you don't win anything in April and March. You win it on finals night, and true to his word, he got it done.
Subconsciously, I don't know how he does it, and obviously you're a player, and how does that mentality change? Because it's very hard to switch off and then just switch back on again at the click of her fingers.
Yeah, well, I don't know, obviously, because I never saw one of those sides. Michael clearly does find a way. I thought the match play last year, he admits it, he was just bang average for the first couple of rounds, but he knows when push comes to shove, he backs himself to find something, and credit to him. 4 or 5 years ago, he liked to dominate. Now he's happy to just get the job done. If it means winning with a 90 average, so be it. He'll do it. He knows to scrap Michael. He's got everything Michael van Gerwen. And yeah, I was really impressed with him. I was really pleased with him last night as well. Just to find that form, particularly after last week. He was borderline in tears after that shoulder injury concern. A week later, he's Premier League champion. It's all forgotten about.
7 Premier League titles as well. 7 in 10 years. That's a remarkable record.
Yeah, it's incredible. And 2 of the 3 he hasn't won. He got to the final, didn't he? So he's obviously missed out on the playoffs 1 year. But it's just an incredible achievement. He's a top player, top performer. Still got an appetite to win. Little nights like this, he's not here tonight, but these are the ones he still likes to win here. He's got a ridiculous hunger, and it'll continue. And he'll want to win the World Cup if he's there. He'll want to win the World Matchplay. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the year holds to Michael van Gerwen.
Have you had a chat with Gezi how he is? Because across the 16 weeks, he was the best player. But not to be the best player on night 17 must hurt a little bit.
Disappointed. I drove over here with him tonight, and I didn't want to chew his ear off too much, but he just said, yeah, just a bit disappointed that he couldn't find anything in the biggest of the lot. But again, like Michael van Gerwen, these guys recover from setbacks. You go again, you regroup, you don't dwell on it too much. Just a single finger this weekend off to New York. Gezi will get his teeth stuck into something else, and he'll be fine. And he's playing great. Just one bad game, really, and it cost him. But he'd be good. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the mix to win the Premier League in the years to come. I expect him to win that at some point, because he's got to grips with the whole format now. You've just got to win that sort of mini tournament on the last night.
Over the 17 nights, how would you assess it? Did the 8 selections live up to it, or do you maybe in hindsight maybe they got 1 or 2 wrong?
I'm not going to go in too wrong. I think that the big gamble was Dimitri van den Berg going in, and well, not big gamble. I kind of like Dimitri being in it, but he just underwhelmed a little bit. But he admitted it, and I was guilty of forgetting about this, is that he never played a proper Premier League, didn't he? So he said the travel was hard being away, and if he feels like he'd be more equipped next time he goes, but who knows when he gets that chance. I thought Dobie was excellent, very unlucky. Nathan was brilliant, very unlucky. Peter Wright didn't perform, generally the case in the Premier League, and he's got a big end to the year, so he's got a lot to think about. But I think it was good Peter kind of playing better now. He just needs to get some sort of routine. He knows what he needs to do. Won't be surprised if he won a major title the rest of the year.
Format is still a talking point. After 2 years of this format, would you like to see a change now, or would you like to see one more year of this?
I don't think they're going to change it after just 2 years, so I think it'll run again. It's mixed, isn't it? Because it can be great, but just the way the draw goes, you can see the same players play 3 times, 4 times a draw. It's just, that's the risk you take. And if you're in the audience, you're seeing a mini tournament, I think it's great. Players playing for an extra £10,000, that's good, the appetite. It's Michael, I think, said something about he was already in the top 4 early doors, and that was like a big sort of, it kind of made him a little bit bored. But you're never going to please everyone. It's still exciting. The build-up to the Premier League, the rumours going around who's in it. It's a great event. It dominates the calendar sort of the first 4 months. And yeah, I'm sure it'll run again like that.
Does it detract from the big games, though, this format? Because the number of times we see Michael against Gezi, Michael against Michael, Michael against Gezi as in Michael Smith, does it detract from these big games? And say these meet in the match play, the fans have already seen this 9 times already this year.
Yeah, I don't think so, because it happens too often now. You've got too much of an intense tour where, yes, the players have time off, but they still come across. So there's European tours, yes, they're streamed, there's Pro Tours, World Tours. These guys play each other a lot anyway, full stop. So whatever they do with the Premier League, these guys are going to play each other a lot because they generally get to the back end. So I know what you're saying, but I think it's fine. When these guys perform, when they're at their best level, I don't mind watching them, so it's fine. I don't care if it's a repeat match from the week before, but if you see quality darts, it's always going to be good.
We obviously saw Gezi, Michael and Michael dominate the Premier League in terms of nightly wins as a collective. Is that little trio, is that something that you see going on for the rest of the year, and those 3 dominating finals amongst themselves?
I think they're a band above the rest of the field. I think that most of the field would admit that, but all at the same time, the rest of the field have got a chance. They've just not got the consistency. People like Johnny Clayton, Nathan Aspinall, Chris Dobie, Dave Van Dijvenbode, they've got the game to beat these guys. They just don't do it as often as they do it, and they're there to be shot at, and these guys have got to step up, and I'm sure some of them will. I'm not saying I don't expect it to be Michael Van Gerwen, Michael Smith, Gerwen Price name on all the majors the rest of the year. So I'm looking forward to sort of the running. I like this part now. Love the Premier League, but when it's done, you like to move on, and it gets exciting.
Race for the match play is really heating up, and there's 2 names that stick out in the Pro Tour of Merit that the seeds will be just not wanting to get in: Josh Rock and Gary Anderson, 2 potential absolute nightmare draws for those 16 seeds at the match play.
Yeah, I say you say the seeds. I don't think those top 3 boys will be too bothered about it. They'll relish it. But yeah, they're dangerous to be unseeded players. Anderson was only ever unseeded, I think, twice, wasn't he? And the first 2 years, ever since then, he's been a seeded player. I never doubted he'd make it. He has made it. But yeah, match plays like that. There's draws in there you fancy, there's some you don't. You just got to get on with it. For me, it's one of the best tournaments in the year, if not the best, because you've got 32 formed players. Obviously, the World Championship is very diluted. There's a lot of players that you've got to bring in the other regions, so I get that. But no, I look forward to it, and it's almost time for cut-off, so be interested to see who makes it. There's still some spots available, and there's maybe someone from the pack, you don't know.
Were you surprised that Gary's bounced back in the way he has? Because it looked as if he was just walking off into the sunset and going to enjoy, not retirement, but just enjoy the events he was in. But this year he's come back with a real venom to his game, and we've seen him winning Pro Tours again.
Yeah, I knew he'd make the match play. I never doubted it. It's like he's got... I think sometimes, and he'll admit this, he just needs a little kick up the backside, Gary, and he'll admit that himself. And when he gets determined, when he gets a bit angry, he plays at a high level. He's done that for most of the year, so I thought he'd make it. I don't even think he was overly concerned. But as a player, you want to enter the Euro Tours like he's done, just to safeguard. But no, he's done that now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's back among seeded players soon, because he's got the capabilities to win one of his Euro Tours, have a run in the match play, and hop himself back into the top 16.
He's going to play in the World Cup as well for the first time in a few years. That obviously makes Scotland stronger. Looking at it, the pairs only conundrum. Are England, Wales and Scotland the 3 standouts for you at the World Cup?
Yeah, for me, yeah. Obviously, the Australian be defending champions, but yeah, they're the standout 3. I'm obviously going to say it. I think Wales are the best equipped, but I like the Smith-Cross pair. Anderson and Wright, obviously a brilliant team. They should have done more, they'll admit that. I can't believe they've only won the World Cup the amount of times they have. But they'll be looking forward to it. I think Anderson hasn't got a Grand Slam spot yet. He may off the Pro Tour, we don't know because that overlaps. But so these guys have got to look at that as well. Anderson was gutted when he missed the Grand Slam. That was nice to hear last year, because he's been there all the time, and it was normally you're thinking, will Gary say I don't care, but it was nice to say, no, I do, I missed it, and he'll want to be back, and that's a realistic path in for him.
On the Grand Slam, it's been announced that the Civic is done. We're not going back there. Matt Porter confirmed it to us the other day. Is that a blow? Not a blow to darts, but obviously Aldersley's got a little bit of stick. It's a bigger venue, it holds more. But to lose the Civic from the calendar, is that a bit of a blow?
Not for me. I think we've been away so long now. You kind of get used to it, don't you? And it's a bigger venue. It's very cosy, the Civic. I played there a lot, and in terms of getting all your broadcasters in, your journalists, the players' back room, it's cosy. And I think this is just better in general for everyone. You're there, you see our back room, we've got the space, obviously, your interviews, the players have got a better room. Obviously, the stupid things like parking, there's not a great deal of parking by the Civic, just little things that just tick the boxes. I think Aldersley's been a good home, and I'm glad it's staying there.
You're jet setting as well for the World Series. You excited to be going to New York next week?
I am, yeah. Obviously, I've been to a couple of World Series this year, but these are the ones, New York's the one you look forward to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing an event. I think this is one that's more competitive than some of the others. Obviously, Bahrain, we're just starting, we expect the players to get better. Copenhagen, I thought the players would be better, the challengers. But in New York, it's these, some players there who are looking to make a real impact. And obviously, the North American Championship is where we get a closer look at them. So, yeah, looking forward to it. It should be a great week, and it'll be a great event.
Well, big pleasure as always, lad.
See you, mate.